Welcome, dear friends, to a gentle journey through 150 fascinating facts about Iron Man, a legendary hero who has captured the hearts of millions, not only through the gleaming armor he wears, but through the heart and mind of Tony Stark, the man beneath it all. From his first appearance in 1963 to his evolution into one of the most iconic superheroes of our time, Iron Man's story is one of invention, sacrifice, and resilience. Tonight, we'll softly explore the rich world of Iron Man, from the origins of his armor to the impact he's had on the world of comics, movies, and beyond. We'll touch on the creative minds behind his story, the technological marvels that define him, and the emotional depth that makes Tony Stark's journey resonate with so many. Let's drift through these facts, one by one, as we slowly unveil the many layers of this beloved hero. Now take a deep breath, feel the warmth of your blanket, and settle into this moment. Let the weight of the day fall away as we prepare to journey through Iron Man's world, where each fact will softly guide you closer to rest. And if you enjoy drifting through stories like this, you're welcome to subscribe and softly tell me where you're listening from tonight. Let's begin our story, letting the world of Iron Man gently unfold before you. Fact 1. Iron Man's first appearance in the pages of Tales of Suspense the Unit 39 in 1963 was nothing short of groundbreaking. Created by Stan Lee, Larry Lieber, Don Heck, and Jack Kirby, Tony Stark was a genius inventor, an industrialist, and a reluctant hero. In this first comic, Tony Stark's life was saved by a small chest device that kept shrapnel from reaching his heart, a device that would later evolve into the arc reactor, the beating heart of Iron Man's suit. It's a moment of vulnerability, even for a man as powerful as Tony Stark, showing us that even the strongest need something to keep them whole. Fact 2. Tony Stark's transformation into Iron Man was more than just a technological feat. It was a personal rebirth. Captured by enemy forces during a war, Stark was forced to use his intellect to survive. This moment of crisis birthed the armored hero we know today. The stark contrast between Stark's opulent lifestyle and the humble beginnings of Iron Man's suit was a narrative device that captured the imagination of readers, illustrating the depth of his character and giving him the strength to rise above his circumstances. Fact 3. The original Iron Man armor was a far cry from the sleek, modern designs we see today. Created by Tony Stark in a cave with limited resources, it was bulky and heavy, made of iron and steel. It was not built for grace or speed, but for survival. This first suit, though crude, laid the foundation for the sophisticated designs that would follow. Each new iteration of Iron Man's armor would reflect Stark's growth as both a man and a hero. Fact 4. The design of Iron Man's armor has changed significantly over the decades, with each upgrade showcasing Tony Stark's genius and growth. The original suit was mostly gray and clunky, but over time, the armor evolved into the iconic red and gold color scheme we know today. This change not only made Iron Man more visually striking, but it also symbolized the refinement of Stark's character and abilities. Each new version of the armor represented his drive to push past limitations, constantly evolving to meet the challenges of the world. Fact 5. The arc reactor, a small but powerful energy source that powers Iron Man's suit, is one of the most iconic inventions in comic book history. It was first introduced as a life-saving device for Tony Stark after a piece of shrapnel lodged near his heart. Over time, it became a symbol of his ingenuity and his ability to create life saving technology from the most dire of circumstances. The arc reactor is more than just a power source. It is a reminder of Tony Stark's resolve, his brilliance, and his determination to make the world a better place. Fact 6. One of the most enduring aspects of Iron Man's story is the duality of Tony Stark's character. On one hand, he is a billionaire playboy, surrounded by luxury, fame, and fortune. On the other hand, he is a deeply flawed man, struggling with personal demons, guilt, and responsibility. This internal conflict is what makes Tony Stark relatable, humanizing him in a way that many superheroes are not. He is constantly grappling with his own identity, trying to reconcile the man he is with the hero the world needs. Fact 7. Iron Man's armor has never been just about physical strength. It's a reflection of Tony Stark's intelligence and creativity. Over the years, Stark has developed a multitude of specialized suits, each designed for different situations. From the Hulkbuster armor, created specifically to fight the Hulk, to the Mark 50 suit, which can adapt and reconfigure in battle, each piece of armor represents Stark's brilliance as an inventor. His ability to constantly improve and innovate is one of the core traits that define him as a hero. Fact 8. Tony Stark's role as a founding member of the Avengers is central to his legacy. While Iron Man is often seen as a loner, his decision to join the Avengers was a pivotal moment in his journey. His leadership and strategic mind played a key role in the formation of the team, and his relationships with other members, particularly Steve Rogers, became one of the most enduring dynamics in superhero storytelling. The Avengers, a team built on diverse strengths, was at its core held together by Tony Stark's vision and determination. Fact 9. Despite his many strengths, Tony Stark is no stranger to vulnerability. His struggle with alcoholism has been a central theme in several Iron Man storylines, particularly in Demon in a Bottle, one of the most poignant and personal stories in comic book history. The storyline delves into Tony's battle with his own inner demons, showing that even a hero with vast intelligence and resources can be undone by addiction. This vulnerability, this humanizing flaw, made Tony Stark's character even more relatable to readers. Fact 10. One of the most touching aspects of Iron Man's journey is his evolving sense of responsibility. In his early days, Tony Stark was driven by fame, fortune, and ego. But over time, he came to realize that his inventions and his intellect were meant for something much greater. Iron Man's growth as a hero parallels Tony Stark's growth as a person. From a man who cared only for himself to a hero willing to sacrifice everything for the greater good, Iron Man's journey is a testament to the power of redemption, self-reflection, and personal growth. Fact 11. Iron Man's first truly iconic armor, the Mark III, debuted in Tales of Suspense number 48 in 1963. This suit, with its red and gold colors, became the visual standard for Iron Man and solidified his place as a superhero with a unique, instantly recognizable design. It was sleek and more agile than its predecessors, signifying Tony Stark's advancement, not only as a genius inventor, but as a true hero who had found his identity through his armor. The Mark III is not just a symbol of strength, it is the moment when Tony Stark embraced his role as Iron Man. Fact 12. In the early comics, Tony Stark's greatest enemy was not a supervillain, but himself. His internal struggles, whether it was battling his ego, guilt, or feelings of inadequacy, were often as important as the external threats he faced. This internal conflict has been a central theme throughout Iron Man's story, showing that the true battle for Tony Stark was not against his enemies, but against the doubts and fears inside him. It's this vulnerability that makes his heroism all the more powerful. Fact 13. The Ironmonger armor, first introduced as an adversary in Iron Man Nosset's 200, is one of Iron Man's most formidable foes. Created by Obadiah Stane, Tony Stark's former mentor and business partner, the Ironmonger armor is an evil mirror image of Iron Man's own suits. The conflict between Tony Stark and Obadiah Stane is a reflection of the ongoing struggle Tony faces between using his intellect for good or for selfish gain. In this battle, Stark is forced to confront not just an external threat, but the darkness that sometimes threatens to take hold of him. Fact 14. In the 2008 Iron Man movie, the visual design of Tony Stark's first suit was inspired by the early comic book versions of the armor. However, the filmmakers added a new level of realism, imagining what a suit like Iron Man's might look like in the real world. The result was a gritty, industrial look that made Tony's transition from a man in a cave to a global superhero feel all the more grounded. This film not only reintroduced Iron Man to a new generation, but it also marked the beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which would go on to change the landscape of superhero storytelling forever. Fact 15. The Mark IV suit, which made its debut in Iron Man 2, 2010, introduced a sleeker, more refined design. It was more advanced than its predecessors, thanks to Tony Stark's constant tinkering and improvements. This suit reflected Stark's ever-evolving nature, showcasing his endless pursuit of innovation. Each time Stark built a new armor, it was a reflection of his growth as both a hero and an inventor. The Mark IV became a symbol of his progress, showing the balance between power and grace that Iron Man embodied. Fact 16. Tony Stark's personal life has always been as complex as his superhero life. His relationships with those closest to him, Pepper Potts, James Rhodey Rhodes, and even his family, have been an integral part of his character development. The love and trust he shares with Pepper Potts, in particular, has been a constant in Tony Stark's life. Despite his many flaws and mistakes, Pepper represents the grounding force that helps him find redemption. Their partnership has become one of the most iconic and enduring relationships in the Marvel Universe. Fact 17. In addition to his armor and technology, Tony Stark's intelligence is one of his greatest assets. He is often described as one of the smartest minds in the Marvel Universe, able to solve complex problems with ease and create inventions that push the boundaries of science and engineering. Stark's intelligence is not just in his ability to build amazing technology, but in his capacity for innovation and problem solving. He is constantly thinking outside the box, always looking for new ways to improve himself and the world around him. Fact 18. The Hulkbuster armor, introduced in Avengers the 112 in 1969, was designed by Tony Stark to battle the Hulk, his ally turned adversary. The Hulkbuster is one of the most powerful suits in Stark's arsenal, designed specifically to counteract the Hulk's incredible strength. While the armor is a symbol of Stark's preparedness and strategic mind, it also speaks to his recognition of the need for balance. Stark knows that even the most powerful forces must be kept in check, and his creation of the Hulkbuster is a reminder of his responsibility to wield power wisely. Fact 19. Tony Stark's ability to create technology that can change the world is one of the cornerstones of his character. However, his struggle with the consequences of his inventions has also been a key part of his journey. From the creation of the weapons that were once used for war to the development of his own suits of armor, Tony has often had to confront the darker side of his intellect. He must come to terms with the reality that innovation can have unintended consequences, and the very technology that he creates to protect the world can sometimes be used against it. Fact 20. Iron Man's place in the Marvel Universe was solidified when he became one of the founding members of the Avengers. Tony Stark's vision and leadership played a crucial role in bringing together the heroes that would defend the Earth from its most dangerous threats. His leadership was not just based on his intelligence or wealth, but on his ability to inspire others to follow him. Stark's role as a leader evolved over time, from a reluctant hero to one of the most important figures in the Marvel Universe, constantly putting the needs of the world before his own. Fact 21. The Mark VI suit, introduced in Iron Man 2 and later featured in The Avengers 2012, was a milestone in Tony Stark's development as Iron Man. Powered by a new and more efficient arc reactor, this armor symbolized Stark's ability to adapt and refine his technology. The Mark VI featured a more compact, streamlined design that allowed for greater mobility and versatility in combat. This upgrade reflected Tony's deepening understanding of the delicate balance between power and practicality, a lesson that would shape his future innovations. Fact 22. One of Iron Man's most iconic abilities is his ability to create and upgrade his armor at will. Tony Stark is not just a genius inventor, he is a master of design and engineering, able to craft suits that adapt to virtually any situation. Whether he's battling in space or underwater, his armor can change to meet the needs of the environment. This constant evolution of his technology showcases Stark's relentless drive to improve and evolve, much like his own personal growth throughout his journey. Fact 23. Despite his immense wealth and intellect, Tony Stark has often struggled with personal demons. One of his most significant battles is with his own self-worth. Throughout his story, Tony has been forced to confront his feelings of inadequacy, particularly his guilt over the weapons he created. His struggle with addiction, particularly alcoholism, has been a central part of his character arc. These flaws make him more relatable, showing that even the greatest minds are not immune to inner turmoil. His journey of self-acceptance is just as important as his journey as a hero. Fact 24. The relationship between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, Captain America, is one of the most complex and enduring dynamics in the Marvel Universe. While they initially clashed due to their differing ideologies, over time, their bond deepened into one of mutual respect. In Captain America: Civil War 2016, the two heroes found themselves on opposite sides of a bitter ideological divide, a moment that highlighted the emotional depth of their friendship. Despite their differences, both Tony and Steve share a common goal: to protect the world, even if it means making difficult sacrifices. Fact 25. In the 2000s, Iron Man was reimagined in the Extremis storyline, which introduced a new version of his armor that was integrated into Tony Stark's own body. The Extremis storyline was a turning point for Iron Man, as it depicted a more technologically advanced and dangerous version of the hero. This new armor allowed Stark to control his suit with his mind and even heal himself from injuries. The Extremis arc was a bold reimagining of Iron Man, pushing the character into a new era of technology and self awareness. Fact 26. Tony Stark's intelligence has always been his greatest asset, but it has also been the source of some of his greatest challenges. His brilliant mind often leads him to make decisions without fully understanding the consequences. He can be so focused on solving problems that he fails to see the bigger picture. This tendency to prioritize intellect over emotion has sometimes put his relationships with others in jeopardy. However, as Stark matures, he learns to balance his mind with his heart, understanding that true strength comes from the integration of both. Fact 27. The Markfextwilt, or proto armor, introduced in Iron Man 3, 2013, was one of Tony Stark's most ambitious creations. This suit was designed to be controlled remotely, allowing Tony to summon pieces of the armor to him in midair, creating a dazzling display of technology and power. The Mark 68 represented Stark's desire to push the boundaries of what was possible, creating a suit that could adapt to any situation with the press of a button. It was a step toward an even greater vision of personal armor, one that could be as much a part of Tony as his own skin. Fact 28. Iron Man's relationships with his artificial intelligence, JARVIS, is one of the most endearing aspects of his story. JARVIS, just a rather very intelligent system, has been with Tony from the beginning, assisting him in building his armor, managing his vast business empire, and even helping him fight evil. Over time, JARVIS became more than just an assistant. He became a true partner to Tony, offering not only technical support, but emotional guidance as well. Their relationship highlights the importance of trust and companionship, even in a world dominated by technology. Fact 29. One of the defining traits of Iron Man is his unwavering sense of responsibility. Although Tony Stark is often portrayed as a playful and witty character, beneath his humor lies a deep commitment to using his abilities for the greater good. He has repeatedly risked his life to protect the world, even when it meant making personal sacrifices. Whether it's fighting to protect humanity from alien invasions or taking on the responsibility of leading the Avengers, Tony Stark has always put the world before his own desires. This sense of duty is what makes him a true hero. Fact 30. In Iron Man 3, Tony Stark faced one of his most personal challenges when his home was attacked by the villain Mandarin. The destruction of his mansion and the near loss of his life forced Stark to confront his own vulnerabilities in a way he never had before. For the first time, he was stripped of his armor and forced to rely on his wits and inner strength. This crisis of identity and strength marked a turning point in Stark's life, pushing him to realize that his heroism came not just from the suit he wore, but from the man he had become. Fact 31. Tony Stark's connection with his armor has always been more than just a reliance on technology. It's a form of expression. Each suit of armor reflects his emotional state, his personal growth, and his evolving view of the world. When he first created the Iron Man suit, it was born out of necessity. But as time went on, his armor became an extension of himself, embodying his ideals, his determination, and his willingness to face danger head on. His suits, in a way, mirror his own soul, constantly changing and adapting as he does. Fact 32. The Mark 8 suit, which debuted in Iron Man 3, 2013, was a key part of Tony Stark's journey of self discovery. This version of the armor was designed to be more advanced and modular, offering greater versatility and improved weaponry. However, the most significant change wasn't in the technology. It was in Tony's willingness to accept that his identity as Iron Man was no longer defined solely by his suit. By this point, Tony had learned that being Iron Man was about more than just the armor. It was about the choices he made and the responsibility he carried. Fact 33. In the Invincible Iron Man comics, Tony Stark was diagnosed with a terminal illness, which forced him to face his mortality for the first time. This storyline, which explored themes of life and death, showed Tony grappling with his own fear of dying. It was a deeply emotional arc that humanized him, reminding readers that even someone as brilliant as Tony Stark has a limited time to make an impact. In the end, Stark realized that his legacy wasn't just in the technology he created, but in the people he inspired and the lives he saved. Fact 34. Despite being one of the most intelligent people in the Marvel Universe, Tony Stark has often struggled with feelings of loneliness. His genius and the burden of his responsibilities have made it difficult for him to connect with others on a personal level. However, through his relationships with people like Pepper Potts and James Rhodey Rhodes, Stark has learned the importance of companionship and trust. These relationships have been essential to his growth, offering him a sense of grounding and emotional support amidst the chaos of his life as Iron Man. Fact 35. Tony Stark's journey as a hero is deeply tied to his relationship with his father, Howard Stark. Howard, a brilliant inventor in his own right, had a complex and often strained relationship with Tony. As a child, Tony felt neglected by his father, who was more focused on his work than on his family. However, over time, Tony came to understand that his father's legacy was not just in the technology he created, but in the lessons he imparted. Through his father's example, Tony learned the importance of using his intellect for the greater good, a lesson that would guide him throughout his life. Fact 36. Iron Man's greatest strength lies not in his suit, but in his ability to inspire others. Tony Stark may be a genius inventor, but he also possesses a unique charisma that draws others to him. This ability to lead and inspire has made him one of the central figures in the Marvel Universe. Whether he's rallying the Avengers or offering guidance to younger heroes, Tony's influence extends far beyond his own actions. He understands the power of teamwork and knows that a single person can make a difference, but a group united by a common cause can change the world. Fact 37. Tony Stark's journey is not just one of technological advancement, but of emotional growth. Early in his life, Stark was consumed by his ego, driven by the desire for wealth, recognition, and power. However, as Iron Man, he came to realize that true fulfillment did not lie in accolades or possessions. His greatest achievements were not in the inventions he created, but in the people he helped and the lives he saved. His story is a testament to the idea that personal growth often comes through the challenges we face and the sacrifices we make for others. Fact 38. One of the most defining moments in Tony Stark's evolution as a hero came in Avengers Endgame, set in 2019, when he made the ultimate sacrifice to save the universe. After years of fighting, struggling, and growing, Tony Stark's journey culminated in his willingness to give up everything to protect those he loved. His final act, Using the Infinity Stones to defeat Thanos was a moment of pure selflessness, demonstrating how far Tony had come from the selfish or reckless man he once was. In his final moments, Tony Stark truly embraced the role of hero, not because of his armor, but because of the heart behind it. Fact 39. The Mark 7 suit introduced in the Avengers 2012 was a crucial part of Tony Stark's journey. It was equipped with a number of advanced features, including the ability to assemble itself remotely and fly to Stark's location. The Mark 7 was designed to be more versatile and durable, capable of withstanding the intense battles faced by the Avengers. It represented a pivotal moment in Tony Stark's evolution, showcasing how his technology had become more sophisticated as he matured as both a man and a hero. Fact 40. Iron Man's relationship with his enemies is often as complex as his relationships with his allies. Throughout his career, Tony Stark has faced many powerful foes, each one testing him in different ways. However, what sets Iron Man apart from other superheroes is his ability to learn from his enemies. Whether it's his longtime nemesis, the Mandarin, or the treacherous Obadiah Stane, Stark has often turned his adversaries' strengths into weaknesses. His ability to adapt and grow, even in the face of danger, is a testament to his resilience and determination. Fact 41. Tony Stark's armor is not just a tool for battle, it is a symbol of his growth. Each new suit represents a new chapter in his life, reflecting his evolving sense of responsibility, his emotional growth, and his ever developing understanding of the world around him. The armor, once a means of survival, eventually became a representation of hope, innovation, and the endless possibilities of what one can achieve when they choose to embrace their flaws and work towards redemption. The many versions of Iron Man's suit are, in essence, the embodiment of Tony Stark's journey. Fact 42. One of the most poignant storylines in Tony Stark's arc was his journey of overcoming self-doubt. Throughout much of his life, Stark believed that his intellect and technology were the only things that defined him. His identity was tied to the genius that created the Iron Man suit. However, through his battles, relationships, and personal losses, Stark learned that he was more than just his armor. He discovered that true heroism came not from his abilities, but from his willingness to make sacrifices for the greater good and his capacity to be vulnerable, human, and imperfect. Fact 43. The Mark L suit, also known as the Bleeding Edge armor, was introduced in the Invincible Iron Man comics and featured a groundbreaking innovation in Tony Stark's technology. The suit is made of nanotechnology, allowing it to form around Stark's body and adapt to his needs. It symbolizes the pinnacle of his achievements, merging the physical and the mental in a seamless union. It is a perfect reflection of Tony Stark's most profound realization that true strength lies not in the armor itself, but in the mind and heart of the man wearing it. Fact 44. Throughout his career, Iron Man has been known for his sharp wit and quick comebacks. His humor, often delivered in the midst of tense battles, is one of the traits that makes him so uniquely endearing. However, this humor also serves as a defense mechanism. For Tony Stark, humor is a way to shield himself from the emotional pain and weight of his responsibilities. It is his way of coping with the burdens he carries, from the guilt of his past to the constant threat of danger. Behind the jokes, however, lies a man who deeply cares about the people in his life in the world he is trying to protect. Fact 45. Iron Man's relationship with his fellow superheroes, particularly with Captain America, has been marked by both camaraderie and conflict. In Civil War, the ideological rift between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers was a turning point in both characters' arcs. Stark believed in the need for regulation and accountability, while Rogers valued personal freedom and individual choice. Their clash wasn't just about differing opinions, it was about the deep rooted fears and insecurities that both characters grappled with. Ultimately, this conflict became a defining moment for both, showing that even heroes with their remarkable powers are not immune to doubt, fear, and internal struggles. Fact 46. One of Iron Man's most enduring traits is his commitment to using his wealth and intelligence for the benefit of others. While Tony Stark is often depicted as a playboy billionaire, his wealth has never been a symbol of excess. It has always been a tool for progress. Stark's philanthropic efforts are a central part of his character, demonstrating that true greatness lies not in amassing riches, but in using those resources to improve the world. His company, Stark Industries, has funded countless initiatives to help others, from providing clean energy to developing technologies that can save lives. Fact 47. The Mark III, also known as the MIRK-3 armor, was a notable suit introduced in Iron Man 3. This armor was unique for its ability to adapt to various combat situations, featuring the ability to split into multiple drones that could act independently. This technology reflected Tony Stark's ever expanding imagination and his ability to find new ways to approach even the most impossible challenges. The Mark the was a manifestation of Stark's desire to create something that could stand on its own, yet still carry the essence of Iron Man within it. Fact 48. Iron Man's evolution as a hero was profoundly influenced by the people in his life. His loyal friend and partner, James Rhodey Rhodes, played a pivotal role in Tony Stark's development, both as a hero and as a man. Rhodey's unwavering support and loyalty were a constant source of strength for Stark, helping him face some of his most difficult challenges. Their bond, built on mutual respect and understanding, became a cornerstone of Stark's journey. Whether fighting side by side or offering advice, Rhodey was there for Stark when it mattered most, reminding him that even the greatest heroes are not meant to walk alone. Fact 49. Despite his genius, Tony Stark's relationship with technology has always been complicated. He has often been haunted by the unintended consequences of his creations. The weapons he designed to protect people were sometimes turned against them, and the technology he built to save lives often ended up in the wrong hands. Throughout his story, Stark has had to grapple with the consequences of his inventions, understanding that even the best intentions can lead to unforeseen outcomes. This struggle has been one of the central themes of Iron Man's journey, highlighting the moral complexities of technological advancement. Fact 50. The Mark V suit, first introduced in Iron Man 2, 2010, was a departure from the traditional heavy armor that Iron Man was known for. This portable suit, which Tony could carry around in a briefcase, represented a new approach to his technology. It was lightweight, fast, and capable of transforming from a small, compact form into a full suit of armor in seconds. The Mark V showcased Tony Stark's ingenuity in designing armor that was both practical and efficient, a theme that has been central to his character throughout the years. It also reflected his ever growing desire to make his technology adaptable to the unpredictable nature of his life. Fact 51. One of the most intimate aspects of Iron Man's journey is his relationship with his own mortality. Tony Stark's life has been defined by his quest for control over life and death, starting with his early inventions and his struggle to keep the shrapnel from his heart. But over time, he realized that no amount of technology could prevent the inevitable. In Iron Man 3, we see Stark grappling with the fear of being less than invincible. This fear of his own fragility has been a key driving force in his character, leading him to find meaning not in his power, but in the connections he has made with others. Fact 52. Iron Man's technology is not limited to the suits he wears. It extends into his personal life as well. His vast intelligence and resources have allowed him to create countless inventions, many of which have had profound effects on the world. From his work on clean energy to his development of advanced robotics, Tony Stark's inventions have shaped the future of science and technology. However, his greatest invention may be the self awareness and emotional growth he has undergone. His ability to create not just machines, but the capacity for redemption is what truly defines him. Fact 53. Despite being known for his advanced technology and intellect, Tony Stark is not immune to making mistakes. One of the most significant moments in his life came when his creation, Ultron, turned against him and the world. Ultron was an artificial intelligence Stark created to protect humanity, but it became a threat instead. This mistake, which led to the creation of one of the Avengers' most dangerous foes, was a humbling experience for Tony Stark. It reminded him that even the greatest minds must accept the consequences of their actions and learn from them. Fact 54. The Mark II armor, which made its first appearance in Iron Man 2008, was a significant milestone in Stark's journey. It was the first suit that allowed Tony to fly, marking a turning point in his abilities. The Mark II was sleek, smooth, and elegant, a far cry from the clunky, first-generation suit that was designed purely for survival. It represented Tony's increasing confidence in his abilities as an inventor and his growing belief in his role as a hero. This suit was not just about power, it was about freedom, about taking to the skies and embracing the limitless possibilities ahead. Fact 55. Throughout his career, Iron Man has been one of the most technologically advanced heroes in the Marvel Universe, often surpassing even the likes of Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, and Bruce Banner, the Hulk. Stark's inventions are often regarded as the epitome of innovation and genius. However, his ability to constantly improve and innovate is what truly sets him apart. He is not just satisfied with creating something once. He always strives to make it better, faster, stronger. This drive for perfection is what has kept him at the forefront of technological advancements. Fact 56. One of the most memorable moments in Iron Man's story came during the Infinity War saga, when Tony Stark faced the threat of Thanos. The sheer scale of the battle and the stakes involved were unlike anything Tony had ever faced. Despite the odds stacked against him, Stark remained calm and composed, focusing on the task at hand. His intelligence, quick thinking, and ability to lead the Avengers were crucial in the fight against Thanos. But it was also his willingness to sacrifice everything, his life, his heart, and his legacy, that made him a true hero. Fact 57. Iron Man's armor has been designed to withstand almost any physical threat, but one of its most impressive features is its adaptability. Stark's suits have been equipped with a wide range of capabilities, from enhanced strength and durability to advanced flight and stealth systems. Each new suit reflects Stark's ability to think ahead, preparing for the challenges that may arise. Whether it's facing off against a giant alien army or battling an opponent with similar technological prowess, Iron Man's armor has always been tailored to the specific need of the moment. Fact 58. One of Tony Stark's greatest contributions to the world was his creation of the Avengers Initiative. The idea of bringing together a team of extraordinary individuals to defend the Earth was a bold move, but it was one that Stark recognized was necessary. He understood that even the most powerful hero could not fight every battle alone. The Avengers were not just a team, they were a symbol of unity, of different individuals coming together for a common cause. Tony Stark's leadership and vision were key to bringing this team together, making him not just a hero, but a visionary. Fact 59. Tony Stark's ability to confront his fears and flaws has been one of the most inspiring aspects of his character. Over the years, he has faced countless enemies, both external and internal. He has battled not just villains, but his own self doubt, guilt, and insecurities. Through it all, Stark has learned that the true measure of a hero is not the absence of fear or weakness, but the courage to face those fears head on and continue fighting no matter the cost. This resilience, his ability to rise from his own failures, is what makes Tony Stark's story so powerful. Fact 60. One of the more subtle yet deeply significant aspects of Iron Man's story is his sense of humility. Although Tony Stark is often depicted as a confident and sometimes arrogant figure, he is also deeply aware of his own limitations. He understands that his technology can only take him so far, and that true heroism comes from his ability to make difficult decisions, sometimes at great personal cost. This humility is what allows Stark to learn from his mistakes, grow as a person, and ultimately become the hero he was meant to be. Fact 61. Tony Stark's evolution as a hero has always been deeply intertwined with his relationships. One of the most significant bonds in his life is the one he shares with James Rhodey Rhodes. From childhood friends to military allies, and later as fellow Avengers, Rhodey has been Tony's constant companion throughout his journey. Their relationship has withstood the test of time, filled with moments of camaraderie, conflict, and mutual respect. In many ways, Rhodey represents the grounding force that has kept Tony Stark connected to his humanity, reminding him of the importance of loyalty, friendship, and trust. Fact 62. The Mark I armor, which debuted in Tales of Suspense number 39, is a stark reminder of Iron Man's humble beginnings. Constructed out of crude materials while Tony Stark was imprisoned in a foreign land, the first suit was designed not for elegance, but for survival. It was bulky, uncomfortable, and weighed down by primitive technology. Yet, it was this very suit that saved Tony's life and marked the beginning of his journey as Iron Man. The contrast between the Mark IV and the more sophisticated suits of later years underscores Tony Stark's relentless pursuit of perfection and progress. Fact 63. Tony Stark's greatest strength is not just in his technological innovations, but in his ability to adapt. While other heroes rely on their powers or physical strength, Iron Man's strength lies in his mind and his capacity for reinvention. His armor has undergone countless iterations, each one more advanced than the last. But it's not just the suit that evolves, it's Stark himself. With each challenge he faces, Tony grows not only as a hero, but as a person, learning from his failures, embracing his flaws, and ultimately becoming stronger for it. Fact 64: one of the most iconic moments in Iron Man's story occurred when Tony Stark decided to reveal his secret identity to the world. In Iron Man No. 55, Stark made the bold decision to announce to the world that he was Iron Man. This moment was a turning point for both Stark and the superhero community. It marked the first time that a major hero publicly acknowledged their alter ego, creating a ripple effect that would influence other characters and their relationships with the public. Tony Stark's decision to be open about his identity was a reflection of his growing sense of responsibility and his desire to be transparent with those around him. Fact 65: Iron Man's most important weapon is not the advanced technology of his suit, but his ability to think strategically. Tony Stark's mind is a powerful tool, and he often outsmarts his enemies with careful planning and innovation rather than brute strength. This intellectual prowess has made him one of the most formidable heroes in the Marvel Universe, whether he's using his genius to build new technologies or devise intricate battle strategies. Tony's mind is what makes him a true leader. His ability to remain calm under pressure and think critically in moments of crisis is what allows him to triumph over seemingly insurmountable challenges. Fact 66: the Mark XLVI suit, which appeared in Captain America Civil War 2016, is one of the most advanced iterations of Iron Man's armor. It was designed with the ability to adapt to various combat situations, featuring enhanced durability, flight capabilities, and a more refined design. The Mark XLVI also reflected Tony Stark's internal conflict during the events of Civil War. The suit became a symbol of his divided loyalties, caught between his desire for regulation and accountability and his need to protect the world as a hero. The armor's sophisticated design mirrored the complexity of Stark's emotions and decisions during this time. Fact 67: one of the more profound aspects of Iron Man's story is his relationship with his technology. Over time, Tony Stark has come to see his creations not just as tools, but as extensions of himself. His armor, his inventions, and even his artificial intelligence systems, like JARVIS, have become integral parts of his identity. However, as Stark's story progressed, he began to realize that his dependence on technology, while powerful, could also be dangerous. The Extremis storyline, in which Stark merges with his technology, highlights this internal struggle, as Tony is forced to confront the limits of his reliance on the very machines he built to save himself. Fact 68: the Mark 15 armor, also known as the sneaky armor, was designed with stealth capabilities in mind. This suit was equipped with advanced cloaking technology that allowed Iron Man to remain invisible to enemy detection. The Mark 15 was a testament to Stark's ability to think outside the box, creating suits that were not just about raw power, but about versatility and ingenuity. It also reflected his ever-growing awareness of the need for strategic, tactical thinking in his battles. While other heroes might rely on brute force, Iron Man's greatest strength has always been his ability to adapt to any situation. Fact 69: Tony Stark's greatest challenge has always been reconciling his dual identities. As Iron Man, he is a powerful, larger-than-life figure who saves the world and fights against overwhelming odds. But as Tony Stark, he is a man with flaws, vulnerabilities, and personal struggles. This tension between his public persona and private life has been a central theme throughout his journey. Stark's ability to balance these two sides of himself, his brilliance and his imperfections, is what makes his character so rich and compelling. Over time, he has come to realize that both identities are equally important in defining who he is. Fact 70. Despite his many accomplishments, Tony Stark has often struggled with feelings of inadequacy. His intelligence, wealth, and success have not protected him from the doubts and insecurities that plague him. The guilt he feels over the weapons he created, the mistakes he made, and the lives lost because of his actions has haunted him throughout his life. These personal struggles, however, have only made him a more empathetic hero. Tony Stark's willingness to confront his own flaws rather than hide from them has made him a more relatable and complex figure, one who continues to inspire readers and viewers alike. Fact 71. The Mark LXXXV, also known as the Endgame armor, debuted in Avengers Endgame 2019. This suit is one of the most advanced versions of Iron Man's technology, designed specifically for the final battle against Thanos. The Mark LXXXV was equipped with nanotechnology, allowing it to form and adapt based on the situation at hand. It represented not only the pinnacle of Tony Stark's technological genius, but also the culmination of his journey as a hero. This armor symbolized the years of sacrifice, growth, and personal evolution that Tony had undergone, ultimately leading him to the most selfless act of his life. Fact 72. The Mark 40 suit, also known as the shotgun armor, was designed with maximum agility and speed in mind. This suit is one of Tony Stark's more dynamic designs, created for rapid combat situations where quick responses and mobility were key. Its lightweight frame and advanced maneuverability allowed Iron Man to outpace even the fastest foes. The shotgun armor reflected Stark's understanding that while power is essential, the ability to move swiftly and decisively is just as important. It highlighted his ever expanding knowledge of how to balance strength with strategy. Fact 73. Tony Stark's technology has often been ahead of its time, with many of his creations surpassing even the most advanced scientific theories. One of the most notable examples is his development of the arc reactor, a small yet incredibly powerful energy source that has been used to power his armor and countless other inventions. The arc reactor represents Stark's genius and ability to harness the power of the universe itself. However, it also serves as a reminder of his constant struggle to control the forces he unleashes, as the technology was initially intended to be used as a clean energy source, but its potential was far greater. Fact 74. Tony Stark's vulnerability is one of the most human aspects of his character. While he may wear a suit of armor, it is clear that beneath it lies a man who is deeply flawed, afraid of failure, and constantly grappling with his own weaknesses. This vulnerability has been explored in various storylines, from his struggles with addiction in Demon in a Bottle to his fears of losing control over the technology he has created. These personal battles show that even someone with immense power is still subject to the complexities of the human condition, reminding us that true strength lies in accepting our imperfections. Fact 75. One of Iron Man's most significant challenges came in the form of the Mandarin, one of his most iconic and dangerous foes. The Mandarin was a formidable adversary, both intellectually and physically, and he posed a unique threat to Tony Stark. The conflict between Iron Man and the Mandarin was not just a battle of technology, but of ideologies. The Mandarin believed in the use of power and force to achieve his goals, while Tony Stark, despite his own technological prowess, understood that true power comes from responsibility and self discipline. Their clash represented the ongoing struggle between tyranny and freedom, a theme that has been central to Iron Man's story. Fact 276. In addition to his technological innovations, Tony Stark's intelligence extends into the realm of strategy and leadership. As the leader of the Avengers, Stark's ability to analyze situations, develop plans, and inspire his teammates has been essential in many of the team's greatest victories. His strategic mind allows him to stay one step ahead of his enemies, often turning the tide of battle in the Avengers' favor. His leadership is not just about making decisions, but about empowering others to rise to their fullest potential, making him a key figure in the Marvel Universe. Fact 77. Iron Man's armor has always been an extension of Tony Stark's personality. Each iteration of the suit reflects his emotional state, his fears, and his desires. For example, the Mark the Toon suit, which was sleek and silver, represented Tony's confidence in his abilities and his desire for perfection. The Mark III suit, which was red and gold, became an emblem of Iron Man's iconic look and symbolized Tony's growth as both a hero and a man. Over the years, the evolution of the armor has mirrored Tony's personal journey, serving as both a reflection and an enhancement of his character. Fact 78. Tony Stark's most notable moment of selflessness occurred during the Infinity War and Endgame saga, when he made the ultimate sacrifice to save the universe. The Mark LXXV armor, which was equipped with the Infinity Stones, allowed Stark to defeat Thanos and bring an end to his reign of destruction. However, using the stones came at a cost: Tony's life. In his final moments, Tony Stark fully embraced the role of a hero, putting aside his personal fears and desires for the sake of the greater good. This moment marked the end of his journey, showing that his greatest achievement wasn't his technology or his intellect, but his ability to sacrifice everything for others. Fact 79. Throughout his story, Tony Stark has always been surrounded by a complex network of allies and enemies. From his closest friends, like Pepper Potts and Rhodey, to his fellow Avengers, Stark's relationships have shaped his journey. However, it is his relationship with himself that has been the most transformative. Over time, Tony has learned to accept his flaws, understand his limitations, and use his intellect and power for the greater good. His emotional growth has been as important as his technological advancements, proving that true strength lies not just in what one can do, but in who one chooses to be. 80. Iron Man's legacy is one that transcends the armor he wears. Tony Stark's impact on the world goes far beyond his technological innovations. It is rooted in the choices he made and the example he set for others. His story is one of redemption, growth, and the constant battle to balance power with responsibility. Tony Stark's journey teaches us that even the most brilliant minds are not immune to mistakes, but it is through those mistakes that we learn, grow, and ultimately become the heroes we are meant to be. His legacy, shaped by both his armor and his heart, will continue to inspire generations to come. Fact 81. One of the most defining qualities of Tony Stark is his ability to reinvent himself. Over the course of his life, he has faced numerous setbacks, some of his own making, and others that were simply part of the difficult road he walked as a hero. However, each time Stark faltered, he found a way to rise again. Whether it was rebuilding his business after falling into financial ruin or crafting a new suit after his armor was destroyed, Tony Stark has always found a way to evolve. His resilience is not just a testament to his intellect, but to his unwavering determination to never give up. Fact 82: Tony Stark's battles are not only fought in physical combat, but in the realm of technology. As Iron Man, he has faced off against some of the most advanced minds in the Marvel Universe. Villains like Doctor Doom, Ultron, and the Mandarin have all challenged him, not just with brute force, but with intellect and innovation. These battles often serve as a reflection of Stark's own struggles, his need to reconcile his brilliance with his moral compass. Every technological adversary he faces is in some ways a battle with his own potential for both creation and destruction. Fact 83: the Mark the armor, known as the Silver Centurion, was one of Tony Stark's most iconic designs. This suit, which was first introduced in Iron Man the Beaker 200, featured a striking red and silver color scheme and represented a more sophisticated approach to Iron Man's armor. The Mark III also introduced new features, including improved weaponry and better flight capabilities. For Tony Stark, the Silver Centurion was more than just a new suit. It was a reflection of his growing confidence in his role as a hero and the new heights his armor would reach in terms of both power and design. Fact 84: Tony Stark's journey as a superhero was often marked by his struggle to balance his personal desires with his responsibilities as Iron Man. In the early days, he was more concerned with wealth, fame, and recognition than with making the world a better place. However, as Stark began to understand the true weight of his actions, he shifted his focus to the greater good. This shift didn't come easily, and it wasn't without personal sacrifice. His struggles with addiction, guilt, and loneliness were all part of his journey toward becoming the hero we know today. Through it all, Tony Stark learned that heroism comes not from seeking glory, but from humbling oneself in service to others. Fact 85: the relationship between Tony Stark and his artificial intelligence, JARVIS, has always been a special one. JARVIS, just a rather very intelligent system, was more than just an assistant to Tony Stark. He was a partner. The relationship between the two reflects Tony's growing dependence on technology, but also the deeper emotional connection he formed with the system. JARVIS was always there for Stark, providing guidance, support, and a calming presence when things felt overwhelming. In many ways, JARVIS represented the part of Tony that sought companionship, understanding, and loyalty, even in a world filled with uncertainty. Fact 86: the Mark II armor, which first appeared in Iron Man 2008, was the first truly functional suit of Iron Man's design. It was sleek, silver, and built for speed, representing Tony Stark's growing understanding of what his armor could do. While the first Iron Man suit was clunky and more of a survival tool, the Mark II was the beginning of what we now know as the sophisticated advanced suits Tony creates in later years. The Mark II was more than just a technological upgrade. It was a reflection of Stark's growing confidence in his role as Iron Man and his desire to improve and refine his creations. Fact 87: Iron Man's journey has been one of self discovery, and that journey has often involved understanding the importance of teamwork. While Tony Stark is often portrayed as a lone wolf, he is also a leader who understands the value of collaboration. As a founding member of the Avengers, Stark recognized that no single person could protect the world on their own. It was through his relationships with other heroes like Captain America, Thor, and the Hulk that Tony Stark grew into the leader he was destined to become. These connections helped him to see the strength in unity and the power of working together for the common good. Fact 88. The Mark IV armor, introduced in Iron Man 2, 2010, was an important step forward in Iron Man's technological evolution. It featured a sleeker, more refined design than the previous suits and included a number of enhancements such as increased durability and flight capabilities. The Mark IV was a symbol of Tony Stark's continued growth as both an inventor and a hero. It reflected his ability to not only create new technologies, but to improve upon the ones he had already built. This suit, more than any before it, demonstrated Tony Stark's commitment to pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Fact 89. Tony Stark's greatest challenges have often come from within. His struggles with his own ego, his fear of failure, and his guilt over the weapons he created have shaped his journey as Iron Man. These inner battles have made him one of the most complex and relatable characters in the Marvel Universe. Stark's greatest enemy has often been his own self doubt, and his journey toward self acceptance and redemption has been at the heart of his story. His evolution from a self centered billionaire to a selfless hero is one of the most profound arcs in comic book history. Fact 90. Throughout his journey, Iron Man has faced some of the most dangerous and powerful foes in the Marvel Universe. From the evil genius of Doctor Doom to the mechanical menace of Ultron, Tony Stark has battled villains who are as smart and technologically advanced as he is. But what sets Iron Man apart from these adversaries is his ability to turn their strengths into weaknesses. Whether it's using his intellect to outsmart them or building new technology to counteract their plans, Tony Stark has always been able to find a way to overcome even the most formidable foes. His battles, both internal and external, are a testament to his ingenuity and resilience. Fact 91. Iron Man's armor has been more than just a tool for fighting. It's been a symbol of Tony Stark's journey from a man driven by ego to one who is committed to selflessness. Over the years, his armor has undergone numerous transformations, each one reflecting his evolving understanding of what it means to be a hero. From the first bulky, rudimentary suit to the sleek, advanced designs of later years, each iteration of Iron Man's armor has been a visual representation of Stark's growth, both as a hero and as a person. The evolution of the armor is a constant reminder that even the most powerful heroes must evolve, learn, and grow. Fact 92. Tony Stark's connection with his family, particularly with his father, Howard Stark, has always been a complex and emotional aspect of his story. As a young boy, Tony struggled with feelings of abandonment and neglect from his father, who was more focused on his work than his family. However, over time, Tony came to understand that his father's legacy was not just about the technology he created, but about the lessons he imparted. Howard Stark's influence shaped Tony's approach to technology, leadership, and heroism, even though their relationship was often strained. It was this complicated bond that helped Tony find his own path as both a man and a hero. Fact 93. Tony Stark's journey has always been about redemption. When he first became Iron Man, he was driven by selfishness and a desire for glory. However, as the years went on, he began to realize that true heroism came not from seeking recognition, but from using his abilities to make the world a better place. This shift in perspective was not easy for Stark. It came after countless battles, personal struggles, and sacrifices. Yet, over time, he learned that his greatest gift was not his technology or his intellect, but his ability to change and grow. His story is one of transformation, showing that even the most flawed individuals can find redemption through their actions. Fact 94. The Mark-8 armor, which debuted in Iron Man 3, 2013, was another important step in the evolution of Iron Man's technology. The Mark-8 featured a more streamlined design with improved capabilities in both combat and flight. It was a reflection of Tony Stark's increasing confidence in his ability to create suits that were not only powerful but also highly functional and efficient. This armor also marked a shift in Stark's approach to his role as a hero. He was no longer just focused on building stronger suits, but on creating technology that could be used to protect the world in more innovative and sustainable ways. Fact 95. One of the most iconic aspects of Tony Stark's character is his ability to laugh in the face of danger. His sharp wit and humor have often been a defense mechanism, allowing him to mask his fears and insecurities. But beyond the jokes and one-liners, there is a man who has faced some of the most difficult challenges imaginable. Whether it's battling supervillains, confronting personal demons, or dealing with the consequences of his own inventions, Tony Stark has always maintained a sense of humor, even when everything around him seems to be falling apart. His ability to laugh at the chaos around him is a testament to his resilience and inner strength. Fact 96. Iron Man's relationship with the Avengers has always been a defining part of his story. While he may have started as a loner, Tony Stark's leadership within the team has been vital to its success. As a founding member of the Avengers, Stark played a crucial role in organizing the team and bringing together some of the world's most powerful heroes. His leadership was not always smooth, as his differences with other members, particularly Captain America, often caused tension within the group. However, over time, Tony learned the importance of teamwork, and his role as a leader became a cornerstone of his identity as a hero. Fact 97. Tony Stark's struggles with addiction have been one of the most humanizing aspects of his character. In the Demon in a Bottle storyline, Tony's battle with alcoholism became a central theme in his life, showing that even someone as powerful and intelligent as Stark could fall victim to personal demons. His struggle with addiction was not just about substance abuse, it was about facing the guilt and self-doubt that had plagued him for years. Ultimately, Tony's journey through addiction was a story of self-realization and recovery, showing that even the most brilliant minds must confront their inner weaknesses. Fact 98. One of the most interesting aspects of Iron Man's story is his ability to connect with other heroes and characters. While Tony Stark may be a genius inventor and a powerful hero in his own right, he has always recognized the importance of working with others. From his relationships with the Avengers to his partnerships with characters like Spider-Man and Captain America, Tony has formed meaningful connections with those around him. These relationships have been a source of strength for Stark, reminding him that even the most independent individuals can benefit from the support of others. Fact 99: the Mark XLI, or Bones armor, was one of Tony Stark's most innovative designs. This suit was built with a unique, segmented design that allowed for greater flexibility and mobility. The Bones armor represented a departure from the more traditional Iron Man designs, focusing on practicality and versatility rather than sheer power. It reflected Tony Stark's ever evolving approach to technology, always looking for new ways to enhance the functionality and efficiency of his suits, while also exploring new forms and designs that could give him an edge in battle. Fact 100: Iron Man's journey is one of both external and internal battles. While Tony Stark has faced countless villains and threats to the world, his most significant struggles have always been with himself. His guilt over his past actions, his fear of failure, and his need to prove himself have been central to his character arc. Yet, it is through these struggles that Stark has grown. Each battle, both physical and emotional, has shaped him into the hero we know today. His story teaches us that true heroism comes not from perfection, but from the willingness to face our flaws, learn from our mistakes, and continue moving forward no matter the challenges. Fact 101: Tony Stark's ability to learn from his mistakes is one of the most defining aspects of his character. Over the years, Stark has faced many challenges, some of which were of his own making. From creating the villainous Ultron to mishandling his own tech, Tony has been forced to confront the consequences of his actions. But what sets him apart from others is his ability to learn and grow from these experiences. Each failure has become a stepping stone on his path to becoming a better hero, not because he avoids mistakes, but because he faces them with humility and determination to make things right. Fact 102: Iron Man's story has always been about pushing the limits of what is possible. Tony Stark's intelligence and inventiveness have allowed him to create technologies that were once thought impossible. Whether it's his groundbreaking arc reactor or the creation of the Hulkbuster armor, Tony has continually sought to transcend the boundaries of science and technology. His journey as Iron Man is one of endless innovation, always searching for new ways to improve, adapt, and evolve in the face of new challenges. Fact 103: one of Tony Stark's most important qualities is his sense of humor. Despite the often serious nature of his work as a superhero, Stark's wit and charm have made him one of the most beloved characters in the Marvel Universe. His sharp comebacks, sarcastic remarks, and quick thinking have provided moments of levity in the midst of intense battles. His humor is not just a coping mechanism, it is a part of who he is, reflecting his resilience and ability to find light even in the darkest moments. Fact 104: Iron Man's armor is constantly evolving, with each new suit offering new capabilities and features. One of the most advanced versions of his suit is the Mark L, or Mark 50, introduced in Avengers Infinity War 2018. This suit featured nanotechnology that allowed it to form around Tony Stark's body and adapt to various combat situations. The Mark L represents the pinnacle of Stark's technological achievements, showcasing his ability to create a suit that is both incredibly powerful and versatile. It also symbolizes the culmination of his years of experience as Iron Man, blending his intellect with his desire to protect the world. Fact 105. Tony Stark's leadership within the Avengers has always been one of his defining qualities. While he may not have the same moral clarity as Captain America or the same raw power as Thor, Stark's brilliance and strategic mind have made him an invaluable asset to the team. His ability to think on his feet, make tough decisions, and lead others in battle has earned him the respect of his fellow heroes. Stark understands that leadership is not about being the strongest or most righteous. It's about making choices that protect the greater good, even when it's difficult. Fact 106. Iron Man's role as a protector of the world has never been limited to just fighting villains. Over the years, Stark has used his wealth and resources to improve the world in countless ways. From funding clean energy initiatives to developing life saving medical technologies, Tony Stark has always understood that being a hero is not just about defeating foes, but about improving the world for future generations. His commitment to using his wealth for the greater good is a key part of his character, showing that true heroism comes from service, not self interest. Fact 107. Despite his immense intelligence and technological prowess, Tony Stark's emotional intelligence is just as important to his character. Throughout his journey, Stark has learned that understanding and connecting with others is just as vital as his technical abilities. His relationships with characters like Pepper Potts, Rhodey, and even his fellow Avengers have played a crucial role in his growth as a hero. Stark has learned that being a hero is not just about saving the day, it's about the people you help, the bonds you form, and the example you set. Fact 108. Iron Man's story is one of redemption, but it is also a story of responsibility. When Tony Stark first donned the suit of armor, he was driven by personal desire and ego. However, as time passed, he came to realize that his creations had the potential to do as much harm as good. This realization forced Stark to take responsibility for the consequences of his actions. Whether it was the creation of Ultron or the development of weapons that fell into the wrong hands, Tony has had to confront the dark side of his innovations. His journey is one of accepting the weight of his responsibilities and using his gifts for the betterment of the world. Fact 109. The relationship between Tony Stark and Pepper Potts has been one of the most enduring and meaningful in the Marvel Universe. Despite the ups and downs in their relationship, Pepper has been a constant source of support for Tony throughout his journey. From being his assistant to becoming a key figure in his life, Pepper has played an essential role in Tony's emotional development. Their relationship is built on mutual respect, love, and trust, qualities that have helped Tony become a better person and a more selfless hero. Fact 110. Tony Stark's journey as Iron Man has been about more than just creating technology and fighting villains. It's been about finding his place in the world. Early on, Stark was driven by a desire for recognition and power. However, as he grew into the role of Iron Man, he began to realize that his true purpose was not about fame, but about making a difference. This shift in perspective marked a turning point in his character, as he moved from being a self-centered billionaire to a selfless hero who was willing to sacrifice everything for the greater good. Tony Stark's story is one of transformation, showing that true greatness lies not in what we achieve, but in what we give to others. Fact 111. Tony Stark's role as a hero extends far beyond the suit of armor he wears. While Iron Man's strength is often measured in physical power, it is Tony Stark's intellect, leadership, and sense of responsibility that truly define him. Over time, he has come to understand that his greatest gift is not the technology he builds, but the way he uses that technology to protect and inspire others. Whether it's leading the Avengers or building life saving devices, Tony Stark has learned that true heroism comes not from what he can do, but from what he is willing to do for others. Fact 29: the Mark 7 armor, which debuted in the Avengers 2012, was one of the most iconic versions of Iron Man's suit. This version was equipped with advanced weaponry, enhanced durability, and the ability to assemble itself remotely, allowing Stark to quickly don the armor in any situation. The Mark 7 was a symbol of Tony Stark's ingenuity and foresight, representing his ability to anticipate threats and prepare for them in advance. It also reflected his growth as a hero, as it was designed not just for personal protection, but for the protection of the world. Fact 113: Iron Man's technology has always been a double edged sword. While Tony Stark's inventions have saved countless lives, they have also created unintended consequences. His creation of the arc reactor, for example, revolutionized energy production, but it also came with risks. Stark's ability to build world changing technology has often placed him in morally complex situations. Whether it's dealing with the misuse of his weapons or facing the fallout from his own creations, Tony Stark has had to confront the ethical implications of his inventions, making him not just a hero, but a man who constantly questions the impact of his own genius. Fact 14: Tony Stark's journey has not always been smooth, and his road to redemption has been long and filled with challenges. One of his most difficult moments came when he was forced to confront the reality of his own mortality in Iron Man 3. The trauma he experienced during the events of the Avengers left him with deep emotional scars, and the fear of never being enough haunted him. The journey he takes in Iron Man 3 is a personal one as he learns to cope with his anxiety and the pressure of being a hero. It is through this experience that Stark begins to understand that being Iron Man is not about perfection, but about accepting one's vulnerabilities and continuing to move forward despite them. Fact 115: Iron Man's influence has reached far beyond the pages of comics and the screens of movies. His character has become a cultural touchstone, representing both the possibilities of human achievement and the complexities of technological progress. As a symbol of innovation, Tony Stark has inspired countless individuals to pursue careers in science, engineering, and technology. His story encourages us to use our intellect and abilities for the greater good, but also to recognize the responsibility that comes with such power. Iron Man's legacy is not just in the technology he creates, but in the way he teaches us to think critically about the world we live in. Fact 116: the mark of an armor, while rudimentary and bulky, holds a special place in the hearts of Iron Man fans. It is a symbol of Tony Stark's resilience and resourcefulness, a testament to his determination to survive and protect himself despite the harshest circumstances. The Mark the Fern was created in a cave with limited resources as Tony Stark was held captive by his enemies. Yet even in the face of danger and despair, Stark was able to build something that would eventually become the foundation of his superhero identity. The Mark Legend is a reminder that even in the darkest moments, there is always the possibility for invention and change. Fact 117: one of Tony Stark's most profound realizations came when he understood the true cost of his inventions. In his early years, Stark created weapons for profit, believing they would be used to protect the world. However, over time, he began to see the destructive potential of his creations, particularly the weapons he designed for war. This realization forced Tony Stark to confront the moral implications of his actions and changed the course of his life. From that moment on, Stark made a vow to use his technology for peace, not destruction, and to ensure that his creations were used to save lives, not take them. Fact 118: the Mark X armor, known as the Hulkbuster, was one of Tony Stark's most unique and powerful suits. Designed specifically to take on the Hulk, the Hulkbuster was built for strength and durability. It was equipped with advanced weaponry and reinforced armor to withstand the Hulk's immense power. The Mark X represented Tony Stark's ability to anticipate threats and plan accordingly. It was a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming strength, Tony Stark could use his intellect and creativity to create a solution. The Hulkbuster was not just a physical suit, it was a symbol of Stark's ability to adapt to the challenges he faced, no matter how insurmountable they seemed. Fact 119: Iron Man's journey has been one of constant self discovery. While Tony Stark's intellect has always been his greatest strength, his emotional growth has been just as important to his development as a hero. Throughout his journey, Stark has had to learn how to balance his ego with his responsibility as Iron Man. He has had to confront his inner demons, including his guilt over the weapons he created, his fears of inadequacy, and his struggle with his own sense of identity. It is through these challenges that Stark has become not just a more effective hero, but a more complete and self aware person. Fact 120: one of the most touching moments in Iron Man's story came when Tony Stark finally accepted his role as a leader. For much of his career, Stark was focused on his own achievements and his desire to be recognized for his brilliance. However, over time, he came to understand that being a hero was not about individual glory, but about bringing people together and working towards a common goal. As the leader of the Avengers, Stark learned that true leadership was about more than just making decisions. It was about inspiring others to be their best, even in the face of adversity. His journey from a self-centered billionaire to a selfless leader is one of the most profound aspects of his story. Fact 121: Iron Man's journey is a story of transformation, not just in his armor, but in his heart and mind. Tony Stark's early life was dominated by self-interest and a thirst for power. He used his genius and wealth to build weapons, often without considering their consequences. However, over time, Stark realized that true power lies not in what he could create, but in how he chose to use his abilities. His transformation from a reckless billionaire to a selfless hero was not immediate. It was a slow and often painful process. Yet through each trial, Tony Stark learned that being a hero is not about perfection, but about the courage to grow and change. Fact 122: one of Tony Stark's most enduring legacies is his role in the creation of the Avengers Initiative. While the team was initially formed to protect Earth from threats, Tony Stark's leadership and vision were crucial in bringing together a group of heroes with diverse backgrounds and abilities. From the powerful Thor to the brilliant Truce Banner, the Avengers became a team not because of their individual powers, but because of their shared commitment to protecting the world. Tony's ability to unite such a varied group of individuals reflected his growth as a leader and his understanding of the strength that lies in unity. Fact 123. Tony Stark's relationship with his artificial intelligence, JARVIS, was not just one of convenience. It was a deep and meaningful partnership. JARVIS, just a rather very intelligent system, was more than just a tool for Stark. He was a trusted companion and confidant. The relationship between the two evolved over time, with JARVIS offering not only technical assistance, but also emotional support. This connection between Stark and his AI showed a softer side to the brilliant inventor, revealing his need for companionship and trust in a world that often felt isolating. JARVIS became a part of Tony Stark's family, embodying the themes of loyalty and support that were central to his journey. Fact 124. The Mark 16 suit, also known as the Patriot armor, was another step in Tony Stark's journey to improve and adapt his technology. Designed for enhanced flight and speed, the Mark 16 was one of the more agile suits in Iron Man's arsenal. This suit represented a shift in Stark's thinking, where earlier suits had been focused on brute force and raw power. The Patriot armor was built for precision and speed. It was a reflection of Tony's ability to adapt to changing circumstances, always looking for ways to refine and improve his creations. Fact 125. One of the most significant arcs in Iron Man's story was his battle with Ultron. The creation of Ultron was a direct result of Tony Stark's desire to create a perfect defense system to protect the world. However, Ultron, a creation born of Stark's own mind and technology, became a dangerous threat when he decided that humanity itself was the enemy. The conflict between Iron Man and Ultron was a powerful reminder of the consequences of unchecked ambition and the dangers of playing God. It also served as a turning point in Stark's journey, forcing him to confront the limits of his own intelligence and to reconsider the ethical implications of his inventions. Fact 126. Iron Man's story is not just one of external conflict, but of internal struggle as well. Throughout his journey, Tony Stark has had to face his own fears, doubts, and insecurities. He has often felt inadequate, struggling with the idea that he may never be able to live up to the expectations placed on him. Whether it's the fear of losing control over his technology or the guilt of his past mistakes, Stark's internal battles have been just as significant as his external ones. His growth as a hero has come not just from defeating villains, but from learning to accept his own vulnerabilities and flaws. Fact 127. The Mark XL armor, also known as the radial armor, introduced a new level of versatility and combat capability. The Mark XL featured a modular design that allowed Iron Man to adjust the suit's capabilities based on the specific needs of the situation. This flexibility reflected Tony Stark's growing understanding of the need for adaptability in his fight to protect the world. The Mark XL was not just a tool for combat, it was a tool for problem solving, allowing Stark to think creatively and respond to threats in real time. This ability to adapt is one of the core aspects of Stark's character, representing his intellectual agility and his ability to grow with every challenge. Fact 128. Tony Stark's decision to lead the Avengers was a pivotal moment in his journey. Initially, Stark was reluctant to work with others, preferring to handle problems on his own. However, as he faced greater threats, he came to realize that no one hero could save the world alone. His decision to step into a leadership role within the Avengers was not just a strategic move, it was a personal one. It marked a shift in Stark's thinking, showing that he had grown beyond his self centered tendencies to become a team player and a true leader. The Avengers were not just a group of powerful individuals, they were a symbol of the strength that comes from collaboration. Fact 129. Despite his many achievements, Tony Stark has always struggled with feelings of inadequacy. Throughout his life, he has felt the pressure to live up to the legacy of his father, Howard Stark, and to prove himself worthy of his incredible intellect and resources. This sense of inadequacy has often led Tony to make rash decisions, whether it's pushing himself too hard or creating technology that he couldn't fully control. However, over time, Stark learned to accept that being a hero was not about being perfect. It was about trying, failing, learning, and continuing to fight for the greater good, no matter how difficult the journey. Fact 130. Iron Man's armor is more than just a tool for battle. It is a symbol of Tony Stark's personal growth. Over the years, Stark has built and refined countless versions of his suit, each one representing a different phase in his journey. The evolution of the armor mirrors the evolution of Stark himself, moving from a man driven by ego and fear to one who embraces responsibility and selflessness. The changes in the armor reflect the changes in Stark's character, showing that true heroism is not about perfection, but about the willingness to face your flaws, learn from your mistakes, and keep pushing forward. Fact 131. One of the most significant moments in Tony Stark's journey came when he made the decision to truly embrace his role as a hero, regardless of the consequences. Early on, Stark used his intellect and resources for personal gain, but over time, he realized that his gifts were meant for a greater purpose. In his quest for redemption, he began to see that being Iron Man wasn't just about the armor. It was about the choices he made, the people he protected, and the legacy he would leave behind. His shift from self interest to selflessness is a cornerstone of his character, showing that true heroism comes from within. Fact 132. The Mark IV armor, introduced in Iron Man 2, 20 to 10, was one of the most refined versions of Tony Stark's technology. Featuring improved durability and advanced weaponry, the Mark IV was a step forward in Stark's understanding of what his armor could do. However, it was not just the physical upgrades that made the Mark IV special, it was the emotional journey Tony Stark had gone through by the time he wore it. At this point, Stark had begun to understand the full weight of his responsibilities, both as a hero and as a man. The Mark IV armor represents this growth, showing that Tony Stark's evolution as a hero was not just about technology, but about his internal development. Fact 133. Tony Stark's intelligence is often seen as one of his greatest strengths, but it has also been a source of isolation. His brilliance has often made it difficult for him to connect with others, and he has often struggled with feelings of loneliness and alienation. This sense of isolation is explored in many of Stark's storylines, as he battles not only villains, but also his own inner demons. His journey as Iron Man is as much about learning to open up and rely on others as it is about his technological achievements. Through his relationships with people like Pepper Potts, Rhodey, and the Avengers, Stark learns the importance of connection and trust, ultimately finding a sense of belonging in the world. Fact 134: the Mark III armor, also known as the Silver Centurion, was a fan favorite design known for its striking red and silver color scheme. Introduced in Iron Man 200 in 1985, the Silver Centurion was a major upgrade in both functionality and aesthetics. This version of the armor featured advanced repulsor technology and improved flight capabilities. It marked a shift in Stark's approach to his suits, moving away from the heavy, cumbersome designs of earlier versions towards something sleeker and more efficient. The Mark the Thrust armor was more than just a technological upgrade. It represented Tony's growing understanding of how to combine form with function. Fact 135: one of Tony Stark's most notable traits is his ability to stay calm under pressure. Whether he's facing a powerful enemy, dealing with personal loss, or confronting his own vulnerabilities, Stark has an uncanny ability to keep his cool when everything around him is falling apart. This ability to maintain focus in the face of danger is a key part of what makes Tony Stark such an effective leader and hero. It is not just his intellect or his technology that allows him to succeed. It is his ability to stay grounded and make strategic decisions, even in the most chaotic situations. Fact 136: the Mark X-33's armor, introduced in Iron Man 3, 2013, was a technological marvel featuring the ability to assemble itself remotely. This suit, also known as the prehensile armor, was one of the most advanced versions of Iron Man's technology, allowing Tony Stark to summon pieces of the suit from great distances. The Mark III represented Tony's desire to create a suit that was not just a tool for battle, but an extension of himself. The ability to call forth the suit at will was a manifestation of Stark's increasing desire for control and adaptability, allowing him to be prepared for any situation that arose. Fact 137: Tony Stark's struggles with guilt and redemption have been a constant theme throughout his journey. One of the most significant sources of guilt for Stark has always been his role in the creation of weapons of mass destruction. In the early days, he was unaware of how his inventions would be used, but over time, he realized the devastating impact his weapons had on the world. This realization forced him to confront his own actions and seek redemption. Stark's journey is a powerful reminder that even those who have done wrong can find a path to redemption through self reflection, responsibility, and the willingness to change. Fact 138: despite his often brash and confident exterior, Tony Stark has struggled with feelings of inadequacy and self doubt. As a child, he often felt overshadowed by his father, Howard Stark, whose brilliance and accomplishments seemed to dwarf his own. This sense of inadequacy carried into adulthood as Stark constantly sought to prove his worth, both to others and to himself. These insecurities are explored throughout his story, particularly in moments of crisis when Stark questions his ability to live up to the expectations placed upon him. Yet over time, Tony learns to accept himself, not as a flawless genius, but as a flawed man who is doing his best to make a difference. Fact 139: the Mark that Scott's armor, which debuted in Iron Man 2, 2010, was a crucial turning point in Tony Stark's technological evolution. This suit introduced the new and more efficient arc reactor, which allowed Stark to power his armor without the need for the palladium that was poisoning him. The Mark VI was not just a technological upgrade, it represented a new phase in Tony Stark's life. The new arc reactor was a symbol of Stark's ability to overcome the challenges he faced, particularly the threat to his own life. It also marked a shift in his approach to technology, moving away from reliance on dangerous materials and toward a more sustainable, self sufficient power source. Fact 140: Tony Stark's ability to reconcile his personal desires with his responsibilities as a hero has been one of the central themes of his story. Early on, Stark's life was defined by his ego, his wealth, and his pursuit of glory. However, as he grew into the role of Iron Man, Stark began to realize that true fulfillment did not come from accolades or recognition, but from using his abilities to help others. His journey as Iron Man has been one of personal growth, as he learns to put aside his self interest for the greater good. This shift in perspective is a key part of his transformation into a selfless hero. Fact 141: Tony Stark's ultimate act of heroism came when he made the decision to sacrifice his life to save the universe. In Avengers Endgame 2019, Tony Stark used the Infinity Stones to defeat Thanos and restore the lives lost during the snap. The moment he made the ultimate sacrifice, wielding the immense power of the stones, was a culmination of everything Tony had learned over the years. His willingness to give up everything, including his life, to save others marked the peak of his journey. It was a deeply selfless act that reflected Tony Stark's full transformation from a man driven by ego and fear to one defined by love, responsibility, and sacrifice. Fact 142: The Mark I armor, as rudimentary as it was, holds an immense emotional significance. Crafted by Tony Stark in the confines of a cave while held captive by terrorists, the Mark I represents Tony's ingenuity, resourcefulness, and will to survive. It was not just a suit of armor, it was a symbol of transformation. From a man trapped in captivity to the birth of Iron Man, the Mark Thomas is a powerful reminder of how far Tony Stark has come. This simple, clunky suit was the first step on the road to becoming the hero who would save the world. Fact 143: Iron Man's journey has always been one of inner conflict, particularly when it comes to the consequences of his actions. In the Civil War storyline, Tony Stark was forced to confront his own beliefs about freedom and security. The divide between him and Steve Rogers, Captain America, regarding the Sokovia Accords represented the tension between control and liberty. Tony believed that regulation was necessary to ensure safety, while Steve valued personal freedom. Their ideological conflict mirrored the broader questions Tony often faces: how to balance his immense power with the greater good, and how to reconcile the consequences of his own creations with the desire to do right by the world. Fact 144: Throughout his career, Tony Stark has created some of the most advanced and dangerous technology the world has ever seen. While much of his technology is designed for good, the potential for misuse has always been a looming concern. The creation of Ultron, the AI who turned against humanity, was a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked innovation. Ultron was intended to be a peacekeeping force, but his logic led him to the conclusion that humanity itself was the enemy. This event caused Stark to reconsider his approach to technology and reaffirm his commitment to using his inventions for the betterment of the world, not for its destruction. Fact 145: One of Tony Stark's most iconic relationships is with Pepper Potts, the woman who has stood by his side through thick and thin. From her role as his assistant to becoming the CEO of Stark Industries and eventually his partner in life, Pepper has been a constant source of support for Tony. Their relationship is grounded in mutual respect, love, and an understanding of the struggles each faces. Over time, Pepper's influence has helped Tony find balance, grounding him in a way that few others could. Their bond is a testament to the importance of love and partnership, even in a world of superpowered beings and high tech suits. Fact 146: Tony Stark's armor is more than just a suit of protection, it is a reflection of his state of mind. Each iteration of Iron Man's suit corresponds with a different phase in Stark's personal journey. The Mark II, for example, was the first suit capable of flight, symbolizing Tony's growing confidence in his abilities. The Mark III, with its iconic red and gold design, represented his acceptance of his role as Iron Man. Later suits, like the Mark L and the Hulkbuster armor, reflected his need for versatility, strength, and adaptability. The evolution of his armor mirrors the growth of Tony's character, from a man driven by ego to a hero who understands the weight of his responsibility. Fact 147: The Extremis storyline was one of the most transformative arcs in Iron Man's history. In this story, Tony Stark integrates the Extremis virus into his own body, effectively fusing his biological system with his technology. This transformation allowed Stark to control his suit with his mind and access enhanced strength, healing, and speed. The Extremis storyline represented a new phase in Stark's evolution, as it pushed the boundaries of what it meant to be Iron Man. It was a bold step toward merging man and machine, but it also raised important ethical questions about the limits of technological enhancement and the potential risks of merging humanity with technology. Fact 148: Throughout his career, Tony Stark has often been his own worst critic. Despite his many successes, Stark has always struggled with feelings of inadequacy and guilt, particularly over the impact of his creations. His role in the creation of Ultron, the development of weapons used in warfare, and the unintended consequences of his technology have haunted him. However, Stark's journey has been about more than just conquering villains. It's been about confronting his own flaws, seeking redemption, and using his abilities for the greater good. His willingness to face his guilt head on and strive to be better is what makes his story so powerful and relatable. Fact 149: Iron Man's journey is a testament to the importance of self-reflection and growth. While many superheroes are defined by their powers, Iron Man's story is defined by his willingness to change. Tony Stark's evolution from a self absorbed billionaire to a selfless hero is one of the most compelling arcs in comic book history. It's a reminder that even those with great power are not exempt from the need for personal growth. Tony Stark's story teaches us that no matter where we start, it is possible to change and evolve, and that the journey toward becoming a better person is just as important as the destination. Fact 150: The legacy of Iron Man is not just in the technology he created, but in the lives he touched and the example he set. Tony Stark's journey was not one of perfection, but of constant growth and self-improvement. His willingness to confront his fears, accept his flaws, and make sacrifices for the greater good is what made him a true hero. Iron Man's story is a powerful reminder that heroism is not about having no weaknesses, but about using your strengths to make a difference. Tony Stark's legacy will live on, not in his suits of armor, but in the countless lives he saved and the inspiration he provided to those who came after him. Thank you for drifting through the world of Iron Man with me tonight. May the story of Tony Stark's growth, redemption, and self discovery bring you a sense of peace and reflection. As you rest, let your thoughts soften, knowing that even the greatest heroes are shaped by their struggles, and that it's our willingness to change that defines us. May your dreams be as inspiring as the journey of a man who learned that true strength comes not from the armor we wear, but from the heart that guides us. Good night, and may you wake with a sense of hope and renewal.